Well, Democrats lost in 2024 because most voters think the nation's heading in the wrong direction. President Biden was unpopular, and Vice President Harris would not or could not escape that.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
And President Biden lost support for three reasons. One, he ran on the promise of ending chaos and the deadly and chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, followed by chaos at our southern border, undermined that promise. Two, inflation surged on his watch. And three, Biden and his team struggled to communicate and connect.
We finally beat Medicare.
Yeah, that one was a doozy, but I mean communication woes for Biden and his team well before an 81-year-old Biden melted down in debate.
80's the new 40, didn't you hear?
Democrats need much better communication skills. Words matter. That's the same Achilles heel that burned Democrats 45 years ago. Because in the 1980s, Republicans had Reagan nicknamed the Great Communicator.
They called it the Reagan Revolution. Well, I'll accept that. But for me, it always seemed more like the Great Rediscovery.
While Democrats had a president whose speeches came across as dour and scolding.
Too many of us now tend to worship self-indulgence and consumption.
And then a nominee who promised to raise our taxes.
The budget will be squeezed. Taxes will go up.
And then a nominee who expressed less emotion than Lieutenant Commander Data.
If Kitty Dukakis were raped and murdered, would you favor an irrevocable death penalty for the killer?
No, I don't, Bernard, and I think you know that I've opposed the death penalty during all of my life.
But Democrats today can take a very timely lesson from what happened next. Because after Michael Dukakis flamed out in '88, a new wave of Democrats came along and dug the party out of the ashes by doing two things. One, embracing moderates, and two, teaching fellow Democrats how to improve their messaging. They were led by Al Fromm and future President Bill Clinton. They led clinics and workshops that taught Democrats to explain and sell their ideas by framing them on their core values like faith, family, work, mutual responsibility, and equal opportunity for all, and special privilege for none. Their values form the roots, their proposals form the trunk, and the action points and sound bites that sell it all fill out the branches. That's how Clinton revived the Democratic Party and later became known as the explainer-in-chief.
We're all in this together is a far better philosophy than you're on your own.
And it's how Clinton helped revive President Obama, who was himself an eloquent and charismatic speaker, but needed a lift to beat Mitt Romney.
If there's one thing we've learned in this election season, by the way, it is that a few words from Bill Clinton can do a man a lot of good.
But in 2020, the torch passed to Biden, and he figured out how to reduce drug costs for seniors and improve our roads and bridges and expand renewable energy and high-tech manufacturing and counter Russian aggression. But he could never figure out how to explain and sell that to the American people.
We're growing the economy from the middle out, the bottom up, not the top down.
Yeah, but see, from the outside looking in, when you go out from the middle instead of down from the top or up from the bottom with the left, and well, it gets hard to explain what you're even talking about.
Bidenomics is about building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down.
And then he just simply branded the economy as Bidenomics.
Folks, that's Bidenomics.
Attaching his name to the state of the American economy during a painful surge of inflation.
It makes good sense, Bidenomics, right? It kind of flows off the tongue really well.
Repeatedly linking his name to an overheated economy as prices soared.
Folks, it's no accident. It's Bidenomics in action.
Just branding it in people's minds with a constant refrain.
It's no accident. It's Bidenomics.
And then he branded his agenda, Build Back Better.
President Biden's Build Back Better plan.
There is no political justification for opposing Build Back Better Act.
Which may sound more like recovering from hurricanes, which it was not, than free community college and lower drug prices and universal pre-K and making daycare and elder care more affordable and paid family leave. All things that were popular with voters, but just got lost in garbled branding. And then instead of focusing on what it would change,
it's a $50 billion investment in our economic competitiveness.
he kept trying to sell it in terms of how much money he'd spend on it.
Hundreds of billions of new investments are on the way.
When we're already reeling in debt, making it far too easy for his adversaries to tie it all back to runaway spending and inflation with his name on it.
Bidenomics is a blue-collar blueprint for America. It's for you.
Democrats also misjudged the electorate and underestimated Trump's appeal, and according to exit polls, pressed the wrong issues. They lost for several reasons. They'll surely study and try to correct, but it all comes back to wits and the power of words. A problem Democrats have faced and recovered from once before that they will need to address now if they expect to win again.